Well, that's a good lead into the AOC wanting the Marine to go to prison for manslaughter.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's a good.
And there's a lot of people who do. So yeah, Marine veteran Daniel Penny being charged for manslaughter over the New York City subway chokehold of Jordan Neely. I mean, this has been the biggest national news story. It's not just a local New York City story at this point. Everybody knows what went down. And just from what I saw, giving a fair perspective here, not giving any preferential treatment because Daniel Penny happens to be a Marine Corps veteran. I think he did what you're supposed to do in that situation. If you're someone who has learned martial arts, I mean, I think I don't have a background in martial arts, but I know that the number one thing is like, you don't go looking for a fight.
No,
this is what you use in defense. And we know that this guy, Jordan Neely, had a history of being violent. From what we know, he was getting violent on that train. There was no police officer to restrain him. So Daniel Penny was the only guy, I believe, with a martial arts background, took this guy down, put him in a chokehold. And I should point out there, because this is important, he didn't die there on the spot from the chokehold, even though he was there for, I think, 15 minutes or something. He did die in the hospital. And I think people say, why did he have to restrain him for that long and make all these questions in hindsight? But I think you had to keep this guy restrained. And if you let him loose, who knows what drugs he's on, who knows what he's going to do. I think Daniel Penny was 100% in the right. And I absolutely hope he doesn't serve a sentence over this, because it's ridiculous.
And I hate that, again, it make it for race. It's a race thing. Race it's not. You
not at all.
You assholes. It's not anything about race at all. It's
you've seen, right? I mean, there was another black.
There was another exact that's
holding down this guy.
Yeah,
but Daniel Penny was the one who had the martial arts or self-defense background to put him in the chokehold. The other guy was just trying to restrain his arms.
He did. Yeah, no, it was honestly, I was a group effort of not killing the guy, restraining a person that was extremely dangerous. I think, and this is one where I heard it driving back from Houston when you mentioned. I was listening to it. I turned on the radio. I heard it, and 40 some counts of something where he's been arrested, or 40 some counts of some criminal activity, or he's been arrested 40 some times. Forgive me, guys. I know I'm getting the number wrong, but basically he's been in police custody or been charged with something 40 times. That's a lot of criminal activity. And he has assaulted people on the train before, from what the news was saying, or the radio show I was listening to. Guys, I can't even remember which one it was. It was some FM radio show. But you have to be proactive in those situations. The Marine was proactive. Everybody wants to be reactive. Did you want to wait till he actually punched somebody in the face? Did you want to wait till he had a knife? Maybe he didn't, but did you know that? Wait till he stabbed somebody. And now you've got a situation where anybody who does try to restrain him is probably going to get stabbed as well. And maybe he's going to win the fight, but who wants to get cut? And that's something that we train and you learn in the Marine Corps, SEALs, Rangers. You're proactive. You take the initiative. You eliminate whatever threat, and eliminate, not kill. You subdue, you apprehend, you restrain. You know, if you have to eliminate, it's because that threat is trying to kill you. That force on force escalation. We all learn that, guys. It's an escalation issue. And he escalated perfectly. He put him in a rear naked choke. The rear naked choke is not to kill. It's not. It's there to restrain. We see it on the UFC all the time.
But I think people will say the amount of time, but the problem was they did call for help, and it took 15 minutes for a police officer to get there.
Well, guess what? New York hired more police officers. You freaking
But you also, I don't think you could have a police officer on every subway car of every train. I mean, that would be an absolute police state.
Yeah, and but my argument there, and I'm being facetious when I say hire police officers, but my argument there, or what I'm trying to get at there, is he did what he could do in that situation with the rest of the group, based off the number of police officers that are available, based off where they're at in the train, and based off this guy could get up. And if you've ever been in a fight and knocked somebody down, or you've almost won the fight and you let them go, those people turn into like a dog trapped in a corner, and they even get more vicious because they don't want to lose.
Yeah.
So for those that are calling for his head, you've never been in a fight. You've never been accosted. You've never been attacked by somebody that actually wants to kill you or hurt you extremely bad. And in my opinion, you have no opinion in this argument. You have no argument. And if you're saying it's race, you definitely have no argument. I didn't see anything that was over the top. I think the Marine did, and he's a 24-year-old Marine. He was, I don't know if he was highly decorated or not. The right always put highly decorated. I always do that to make it, like we just talked about, to make it so outlandish. But he was a Marine, and he did know how to apprehend. That's what he was taught. And he didn't go above and beyond. Didn't strike. I don't. Did I miss anything? He didn't strike him. Didn't hit him.
Yeah.
Nothing. And like you said, the additional help from the rest of the pastors verified to me that this guy actually was a threat to all of them, and they all were scared for their lives. If he does get charged and goes to prison, it's just going to be an unsafer world, because people like myself, I'm not thinking that when I go out in town, if I see something now, like, do I really want to get involved with this? No, fuck it. Fine. If that's not what you guys want, then fine. I'm leaving it alone. I'll defend myself and my family, but for the rest of y'all, fine. I'm not going to do a damn thing for you. That's my initial feeling if he goes to prison, because it's like, why do I want to put myself out there for you? And if I'm going to be taken away from my family and go to prison, and that's the complete opposite way of I've felt in my life going, or what I did up to this point. I've never felt that way. It's like, if I'm going to help somebody, if they need help, but now it's like, well, no, fine. Not helping you. If you guys are going to throw me in prison, then I'll protect my own, but circle's going to get tighter and I ain't going to do a damn thing for you. And it's sad that I'm even thinking that, because I've never thought that way before. And up until I saw that video, and then you text me what happened to him, and you saw my response.
I just said, let's talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it was good, because it's, I didn't know that was going on until you texted, and then it was I listened to it on the radio. And
which, by the way, is you being in your own bubble, because it was the biggest national news story.
And that's what they didn't know. You're right. Well, that's a great way to live, man. And my son has state track qualification. I'm in my family bubble. I got to watch my boy run track. He's faster than shit. He qualified for the state finals there, state track meet in Kansas. Nice. So that's it. That's my bubble. But you're right, and I love living in that bubble. But this is important. And what I text you when you sent it to me, I said, what the fuck is this? Because we need people, and not vigilantes, but we need people like that Marine, like buddies that I have that have served, like former police officers out there, like good Samaritans out there that are protecting us. There is a sheepdog mentality out there, and we need that, or crime will run rampant. And if you take that ability to protect, not be a vigilante, he wasn't out there looking for a fight, but protect, and you take that away from the normal populace, the world just becomes more dangerous. And that's what you're doing, that congressman. And I just despise that congresswoman out there with the AOC. Stop calling it race. As soon as you called it race, you lost your ability to talk. Step away, let the big people talk. You don't need to be part of this at all. All you people that are claiming it's a race hate crime.
Yeah, no. The mayor even alluded to some racial stuff, which, I thought was wrong. The last things I'll say about it, though, that did piss me off in terms of how it was covered. There were people on the left, like I saw on The View, that just talked about the fact that Jordan Neely was a street performer and a Michael Jackson impersonator, and they made it sound like he was just on the subway doing his Michael Jackson impersonation. He was very good at it. I mean, very talented guy, but like, there are people out there who are very talented, very skilled, but have severe mental health issues. And once you start getting violent with civilians, I'm going to throw all that out the window. But yeah, there was even a woman on The View who said, "Oh, I would have given him money if I was on the subway." He wasn't out there doing his performances. He was getting violent with random passerbys on the subway. But I'll also want to say to people, because I actually got hit up by a listener, Battleline Podcast at gmail.com a while back, and they said, "Hey, Ian, I'm visiting New York City for the first time. Don't know if you'll have time to meet up, but like, what stuff should I do?" And the number one thing I tell people when they're going to visit New York City is take the subway everywhere. Like, that's part of the great thing about going to the city. Take the subway to Queens, take the subway to the Bronx, go to Harlem and have dinosaur barbecue. And I hate the fact that stuff like this scares people out of going to the subway and makes them live in fear. I mean, don't look like a target, don't look like a tourist and that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, my dad and I were talking about it. I mean, I've gone on the subway pretty much my whole life. My dad is too. I've never been attacked. I'm not going to say it never happens. Of course, things like this happen. But when people watch the news, they think like you're taking your life in your hands every time you ride the subway. And I don't want it out there. Yes, I do think it sucks the fact that everybody's disarmed. New York City laws, it'd be a whole nother discussion. But
Yeah.
if you go to New York City, don't just stay in Midtown Manhattan, go to Applebee's, because like, why the hell are you even visiting New York City at that point?
Yeah.
Like, take the subway to a Yankee game, take the subway to different places and see what it's all about. And I never feel that way. And like I said, it happens. Dave Park, who's been on the show, he was attacked on the subway, right? It happens, but it's still a rare occurrence. And it's the same thing as saying, like, I'm never gonna get in a car, I'm never gonna go on an airplane. You're always gonna take a risk unless you want to stay in your house all day long.
Yeah, I agree. New York, I spent a lot of time in New York back in the past, and I did love getting out. Man, running the pier, that was awesome. I loved going to the
Chelsea Pier.
Chelsea Pier and running. Oh man, that was beautiful. You see a whole nother side of the city. Or getting out to the Brooklyn Bridge. There was a pizza joint that was near there that I found once. It was awesome. You had to wait in line, and the owner was so mean. It was the best pizza in the world. He just sit the fuck down here. But he was playing the New York stereotype. He wasn't really mean, but he acted that way, and you could tell it was kind of a show. But he really was an old hardened Italian.
Yeah.
Best pizza I ever had. It was
nice.
Freaking awesome under the Brooklyn Bridge, and we went and got ice cream and it is. And I've rode the subway a few times and then ride the Acela. I get on the Acela and ride all the way to DC. That's cool. Come all the way back. I mean, go to Penn, to Union, to Penn Station. I hope it doesn't scare people away either, because it is a hell of an experience. But you're right, dude. It's sad because it does happen. I just hope it doesn't happen more. But if this guy goes to prison for protecting others, it's going to.
Yeah.